looked through the votes and proceedings of yesterday and confirmed that the content therein, everything therein is the true reflection of what transpired yesterday. Page 1219, page 1220, page 1221, page 1222, page 1223, page 1224, page 1224.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Dean of Sierra Adamawa South. From the top, C2, Committee on Privatization, Senator Isa Shoaibu Lau, not Lau. That apostrophe is not necessary there.
Secretariat, please take note and get that corrected. Thank you very much. Any other observation?
Yes, sir.
Senator Dike Plan.
President of the Senate, my colleagues, I rise to appreciate a correction made on my behalf, sir. And I wish I would say it here. Yesterday, in my proceedings, I wanted to say that I graduated in 1985, and I said I went to Form 1 in 1985.
Is it on this page?
Yeah. Yes, sir, and yes, sir, I'm coming.
Is it on this page?
Yes, sir.
Where is it?
Page 1, ba? I'm just rushing in.
1224. Is it on page 1224?
Yeah, I think so. Wherever it is, sir. I want that.
It's not on 1224. You cannot come. You cannot come. You cannot. Dike Plan.
Yes, sir.
We are on page 1224. If there's anything,
no, it's beyond 2.
That I think is not, it's not reflected, or is made, it's not a vote of proceeding in respect to this page, is what you are going to talk about.
Yes, sir. But I think it is mentioned.
Because we can address that with the proper channel. Dike Plan. Senator Dike Plan.
225, 226, sir.
No, when we get there.
Yes, sir.
When we get there. Thank you very much. Until we get there.
Okay, sir.
1224 carried. 1225. 1225. Senator Dauda Ero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Bina Siaro again, Adamawa South. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, where the military decorations of Lieutenant General Husseini were listed. The last one should be Independence Medal, not Independent Medal.
Oh, thank you very much. Very, very observant. Yes, Independence Medal. Secretary, please take note. 1226, 1227, 1228, 1229, 1230, 1231. Senator, distinguished Senator Dike Plan, you may move for the adoption of the votes and proceeding of yesterday.
Okay. President of the Senate, our dear leader, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dike Plan. I rise to move for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of yesterday, that it is well written, with all that I wanted and all of us wanted are inclusive. Thank you for moving this.
And that the Senate should take note, yes, that you made a mistake yesterday. 1985 was not the year.
Your Excellency, you are always a very kind man and very generous. And that the Senate will take note that I went to Form 1 in 1980 and graduated 1985. Not that I went to Form 1 in 1985. I thank you and I appreciate.
And you so move.
Sir?
That the votes and proceedings should be adopted.
Yes, sir. And I
okay,
saw.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Senator Kelvin Chukwu, you may second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Senator Kelvin Chukwu, representing the people of Enugu East. I rise to support the motion that the vote and proceedings of Wednesday, 5th February be adopted. I so move.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by Senator Dickett S. Plan for the adoption of the vote and proceedings of yesterday, and seconded by Senator Kelvin Chukwu, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of yesterday is hereby adopted. It's hereby adopted. Announcement. I wish to announce the presence in our gallery of the members of Pharmaceutical Association of Nigeria, students, Pharmaceutical Association of Nigeria students, PANS, who are here to witness our proceedings. You are welcome. Welcome, and we wish you a happy stay in the National Assembly. You may wish to sit down. Any other announcement? Any other announcement? Okay. Any petition? Petition? Senator Carlton, Senator Marshall.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My colleagues, I have a petition from one of my constituents, Inspector Joanna Joel, seeking for the restoration of his rank to Chief Superintendent of Police. With your kind permission, Mr. President, I seek to lay the petition.
Legal encumbrance, is that you in court?
No legal impediment, sir.
You may wish to place your petition on the table.
Thank you.
Cornell. The petition referred to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public on Ethics to report back within 2 weeks. Any other petition? Any other petition? No? The leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the first business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in my name on Federal College of Education, Dengi Kana, Establishment Bill 2025, HB 35. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Education, Dengi Kanem, Establishment Bill 2025, HB 35. First reading.
Federal College of Education, Dengue Canam Establishment Bill 2025, HB 35, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Annie Anthony Okori on National Abandoned Projects Management Commission, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 684. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Abandoned Projects Management Commission Bill 2025, SB 684, first reading.
National Abandoned Projects Management Commission Bill 2025, SB 684, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Mohammed.
Senator Nebu, can you please go to your seat? You are no longer there. You are no longer there. You are on this side.
Mr. President, the third business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Mohammed Danduze Mutari on Federal University of Health Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 690. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Health Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 690, first reading.
Federal University of Health Sciences, Funtua, Katsina State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 690, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The fourth business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Fadamsi Adenigba Francis on Federal College of Nursing, Ijebu-Ijesha, Osun State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 692. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Nursing, Ijebu-Ijesha, Osun State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 692, first reading.
Federal College of Nursing, Ijebu-Ijeshi. Is it Ijesha or Ijeshi? Ijeshi. Ijesha. There is a mistake. It ought to be Ijesha. Please, Secretary, take note. Because I know everybody knows Ijesha. Federal College of Nursing, Ijebu-Ijesha, Osun State, Establishment Bill SB 692, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, the fifth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Adeniyi Adigba Mary on Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, Idanre, Ondo State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 693. Mr. President, you may wish to invite to read the short title.
Distinguished senators, Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, Idanre, Ondo State, Establishment Bill 2025, SB 693, first reading.
25, SB 3, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate. Babangida.
Mr. President, the first order of the day is second reading of a bill standing in the name of Senator Barau Jubrin on Federal University of Science and Technology, Cabo, Establishment Bill 2025 SB 691. The distinguished senator will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 5th February 2025. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator time.
Senator Babangida Hussaini, the floor is either to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Senator Babangida Hussaini, representing Jigawa Northwest. It's my honor to lead the debate with your kind permission on this very important bill. On behalf of the sponsor of the bill, distinguished Senator Barau Jibril, the Deputy Senate President. Mr. President and my highly revered distinguished colleagues, I respectfully rise to lead the debate on the general principles of this important bill, which seeks to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Cabo, in Kano State. The bill was read the first time in this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 5th February 2025. You will agree with me, my dear colleagues, that the importance of education to the socio-economic development of Nigeria and the world at large cannot be overemphasized. Because in emerging trends in the 21st century that requires adequate preparation so that our country is not left behind in its attempt to align with global educational dynamics. It is in line with this reason that this bill has been developed to be established in Kano State in view of its cosmopolitan nature. I don't need to overemphasize the population and the size of Kano State and why it is desirous that we should have more educational institutions in Kano State is a given point. The proposed University of Science and Technology will provide that requisite knowledge and expertise that will drive modern technology and innovations in Nigeria. The objectives of the university, as outlined in the bill, amongst others, include: 1, to encourage the advancement of learning to all persons without discrimination of race, creed, sex, or political conviction. 2, to develop and offer academic, technical, and professional programs leading to the award of certificates, first degree, postgraduate research, diploma, and higher degrees with emphasis on planning, developmental, and adaptive skills in education, engineering, technology, applied science, and allied professional disciplines. Number 3, to produce socially mature educational men and women with capabilities not only to understand the educational and technological needs of Nigeria as a nation, but also to exploit existing educational infrastructure and opportunities, and to also improve on them with a view to developing new ones. Distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, and my highly respected colleagues, the enactment of this bill will go a long way in transforming the decayed educational infrastructure in Nigeria and change the educational fortunes of the country for the better. It will also provide a balanced educational development in Kano State. In line with Order 76, subsection 3 of the Senate Sending Order 2003 as amended, the financial compendium is hereby attached for noting and consideration. Therefore, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, it is my ardent prayer that you consider the plight of the people who are desirous of becoming professional technologists and support the expeditious passage of this bill. I thank you very much for your understanding and for your patience, and I have attached for your guidance the financial implication on the attachment to the lead debate. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Senator Oji Kalu. Oji Uzo Kalu.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand to second the bill the motion ably moved by Senator Hussein on behalf of the Deputy Senate President. That, Mr. President, I would like you to give me a few minutes to speak on the education of that area. The Kano State is very big and require more universities. If you want to share ratio to universities, I think between Kano and Jigawa, should be looking for more universities. So because the number of people there, they are very large. So I wholly second this bill because moving a polytechnic to a university is just an easy job because the infrastructures are there. What we are asking for is not too much because the buildings are there already made. It's a polytechnic, existing polytechnic converting to a university. So I urge my colleagues and people in leadership to support this bill because it's something that will bring prosperity, educational prosperity to people of Kano, Jigawa, and that area, and people of Nigeria. So there are a lot of Nigerians that are not from Kano living in Kano, and they will be able to have access to education in Kano. Mr. President, I so support.
Thank you, Oji Kalu and Oji Kalu. It's just a polytechnic that we are talking about to be converted into university. Bantu leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to lend my support to the lead debate on the establishment of the Federal University of Science and Technology, Cabo Kano State. I want to say, Mr. President, on a personal note, that the mention of Cabo comes to me with a lot of nostalgia, because on a personal note, as a student in the Federal Government College, Kano, Alhaji Dan Cabo was a household name and the proprietor of the Cabo Air. And so everybody, people of all shades, usually flock to the place at weekends to have some level of succor from him, a very philanthropic Nigerian to the core. Outside that, Mr. President, I think that this bill cannot have come at a better time. The world is going digital, and technology is a new thing. And so I think that establishing a University of Science and Technology to enable Nigerians, not just Kano State people or people of the Northwest zone, but the whole of Nigeria, to imbue them with necessary skill to prepare Nigeria to the 21st century is a welcome development. I support this bill, and I pray that my colleagues will support this bill to be read a second time and to be passed very expeditiously because time waits for nobody. It's a very straightforward bill, and I hope sincerely that the Senate will approve this bill to the betterment of Nigeria. I so support, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Let me yield the floor to Deputy Minority Leader, who is also going to speak about converting Federal Polytechnic Cabo to Federal University of Science and Technology Cabo.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Rufai Hanga, representing Kano Central. Mr. President, this bill for the establishment of this university is very timely, especially at this time when, the Northwest is known all over this country for backwardness in education. Number two, it is high time we have our boys and girls educated in these technological skills, because it will help boost our economy. It will help create employment. People were relying on employment by government and companies. But when somebody attends a technology university, he will learn skills where he can establish his business and be an employer. So, Mr. President, this is well thought and very timely. I support it 100%, and I hope my colleagues will support us, because this is not for the mover, but for us. I hope we will be supported for this, for the adoption of this, for the third reading, to get through the third reading, and certainly to get through up to assent by the President. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Deputy Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I thank you for bringing up this bill. And I'm of the opinion that we should save time by quickly passing it. There's no doubt about it that Kano is a very big metropolis in terms of population. Not only that, the economy of Kano is bigger than the economy of most countries in Africa. The business activity and intense quest for knowledge in Kano can never be overstated. I'm of the opinion that this university will not just be useful to indigenes of Kano, it will be useful to all of us in the north, and mostly all of us in Nigeria. So I will appeal to Mr. President to quickly pass it so that this bill can see the light of day.
Thank you, Leader. I think going by the advice said by the Deputy Leader, who is sitting as leader, I will yield the floor to Senator Adam Oshomole so that we can go through this debate, because this is a kind of debate we've been having day in, day out here, and what needs to be said has been said, all about this bill. So I will now yield the floor to Adam Oshomole to round up so that we can move ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I like to add my voice to all those who have spoken, at least the one I listened to, in supporting that we give this bill, we pass it for the second reading. The truth of the matter is, around the world these days, polytechnics are being upgraded to universities because the nature of skills have changed. The nature of the economy has changed, and the old techniques that form the idea of polytechnics, the world has changed remarkably. I think it's not even about the size of Kano population. It's about the fact that relative to our population, we need more universities that will be specialized in equipping our young ones with the relevant skills that the knowledge-driven world requires. So I don't think this requires much more debate. I have listened. I think the facts are clear to me. There are even people from my village, given opportunity, would like to go to Kano. The other thing that we must always play up is that when we set up institutions like this or we upgrade, everything has to be somewhere. Many of us in this hall acquire our secondary or university educations in states other than our states of origin. Ahmadu Bello University has produced people from the south, from the north, from the east, from the west. The same with the University of Ibadan. The same with Ife. So the location is not for me even the big issue. The big issue is we must begin to consciously move to create universities of science and technology to re-emphasize the skills that modern world, modern economies demand. A smart world requires smart skills. So, Mr. President, I support this bill and I agree we should do it expeditiously. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. It's to this end, I want to put the question that those in support that this bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, my distinguished colleagues, for your robust contributions to the debate on this bill. It's quite straightforward. The idea is to convert the Federal Polytechnic Cabo to Federal University of Science and Technology Cabo. And the reasons are well explained by those who contributed, especially Senator Sanehanga and Senator Adams Oshomole, and all those that contributed, Senator Ojikalu, all said the reasons for that. So I don't need to go to explain that anymore. The fact is that we have a large population of youths in this country. And the fact is that in the contemporary world, what is in vogue and what is important in terms of developing national economy is human capital resources. And what is really in the front burner now is ICT and science-related disciplines, artificial intelligence, robotics, and so on and so forth. So it's through this kind of institution you'll be able to train those who can be experts in these areas. So that's why it's important to convert this polytechnic into a university. So this bill is hereby referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institution and Telephone to report back within. Okay, Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Science and Technology, Cabo, Kano State, and make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration for related matters connected therewith. 2025, second reading.
A bill for the act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Science and Technology, Cabo, Kano State, and make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration for related matters connected therewith. 2025, second reading taken. The bill is therefore referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Telephone to report back within 4 weeks. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is consideration of report of Conference Committee on the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission Bill 2025. Distinguished senators will recall that the Senate and the House passed in different fashions of Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission Bill 2025. The Conference Committee of both houses have met and harmonized the differences in accordance with Senate Standing Order 86. Mr. President, you will recall that the report was laid yesterday, Wednesday, 5th February 2025. I therefore move motion for the Senate to consider the conference report.
My distinguished colleagues, this report was presented yesterday, and the view was that we should allow senators to look through. Anyway, in any case, the normal practice, the tradition here was to concur and then move forward, except if there are observations. And from what we saw yesterday, there were no observations. And, well, it's quite okay that we decided to bring it forward to today. So if, in the absence of any observation or any reservation, can we please move on to get it passed and move on? Sorry? Oh, you want to, okay. Sorry? Oh, second, you have not seconded. Second, please.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate receives the conference report of Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission Act Bill 2025. I so second.
Well, that was done yesterday, probably because we were not around. We are repeating the same thing. It was done yesterday. Everything was done yesterday. Now, is there anyone that has anything? It's a conference report. So, in the absence of any, nothing. You have something? Comment?
Yes, I have a comment, sir.
Comment on conference report?
Yes,
you
sir.
Want to take it back to another conference?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Yesterday, President of the Senate and my colleagues, when we went through the conference report, I was very glad that the Senate committee did an excellent job, because all the views of the Senate committee was what was adopted. And I feel there's a need for us to appreciate our committee for doing an excellent job, because of all the lines is those of Senate committee that were adopted. It means they are very thorough. I want to congratulate them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. With this commendation, let me put the question. Those in favor that the Senate do approve the conference committee report on the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission Bill 2025, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, the chairman of the committee and member of the conference committee, Senator Ala-Igbo, for standing on the side of the positions of the Senate in that conference. As said by Senator Dickett, we are proud of you. We have no doubt that you always represent the Senate in the best manner possible anywhere. You have the wonderful pedigree as a former leader and one of the brains, best brains we have in the Senate. So thank you very much. The leader of the Senate. This is another best brain. This is another best brain.
Mr. President, the third order of the day is presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Aviation on the confirmation of Captain Chris Onana-Joma as chairman of Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah, chairman of committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report.
Thank you very much, Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari of the Senate. The floor is either to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. No working. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah, Oyonod. Mr. President, I move the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report on the Committee on Aviation on the confirmation of the nomination of Captain Chris Najomo as the substantive DG of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. I so move.
Senator Issa Jibrin Ochocho, may we second the motion?
Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East. I rise to support the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Aviation on the confirmation of the nomination of Captain Chris Onana-Joma as the substantive chairman of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. I so second.
The motion moved by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari and second by Senator Issa Jibrin Ochocho. Please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Buhari may wish to place your report on the table. You may wish to read your report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, yesterday we had the opportunity to call Captain Chris Najomo. He was here with all our members. Let me just summarize and go to the conclusion and then the recommendation of the committee member. Our conclusion, arising from his wealth of experience in the aviation sector, the committee considered Captain Chris Najomo suitable for the appointment as Director General, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, based on his impressive qualification, extensive experience, and outstanding performance yesterday. Recommendation. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senator, the committee strongly recommend that the Senate do adopt the report of the Senate Committee on Aviation and confirm the nominee, Captain Chris Najomo, as the substantive Director General of Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. Our prayer, the Senate do consider the report of the committee and approve its recommendation. I so move.
The Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I'm not a member of the Aviation Committee, but as a senator, I was privileged to have a look at the report of the committee presently before us. Based on the resume of the nominee is a square peg in square hole, and there is no adverse report against the nominee from any of the security agencies as per this report. Therefore, I wholeheartedly concur with the prayers of the committee that their recommendation be adopted, i.e., the appointment of the nominee should be confirmed. I so submit. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. You want to say something, leader? Okay. Well, I think the lead, well, there's nothing to any other thing. Okay, he has said it all. Leader, you can move so that we go to committee of the whole to adopt to look at the report.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that the Senate resolve to committee of whole to consider the report.
Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
My two colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Captain Chris Najomo as the chairman of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Captain Chris Najomo as chairman of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, is hereby approved. The Leader of the Senate. Oh,
Mr. President.
There's a mistake here. The road chairman. So let me do that again. Well,
everywhere I stated chairman should be replaced with a director general. DG. DG. Huh? Is there any other chairman? Is it DG and CEO or just DG? DG. DG. Replace chairman with DG. Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that Senate reverts to plenary to report progress.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and second by another, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Aviation on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as the Director General, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, and approve the nomination of Captain Chris Ona Najomo as the Director General, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA. This is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. Thank you. Now, confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Captain Chris Ona Najomo as the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Captain Chris Ona Najomo as the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, is hereby confirmed. Let me congratulate the chairman and members of the Aviation Committee for a job well done. They've done a wonderful job by doing a proper screen of the nominee. From all indication, they've reached out to all the security agencies and anti-graft agencies to make sure that the nominee, the confirmed nominee, has the requisite pedigree to head this very important organization. So we congratulate him on behalf of the Senate for his confirmation, and we hope that he will put his service, he put his best in the service of his fatherland by way of adding value and creating the necessary environment for the agency to do its best for this country. Once again, thank you very much. I commend you, the chairman and members, for a job well done. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of report of Committee on Electoral Matters on the confirmation of resident electoral commissioners. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Ali Sarafaddin Abiodun, Chairman of Committee, to move motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report.
Mr.
Ali
President, distinguished
Sharafaddin,
colleagues.
the floor is either to you.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Senator Ali Abiodun Sharafaddin, representing Oyo South Senatorial District, and I humbly move, sirs, that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters on the confirmation of appointments of national and resident electoral commissioners. I so move, sir.
Senator Ekon Samson, can you second the motion, please? Please.
Very respectfully, Mr. President, standing before you is Ekong Samson. I represent Akwa Ibom South. I wish to second this motion as ably moved. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion moved by Chairman Senator Ali Sharafaddin and seconded by Senator Ekon Samson of Akwa Ibom State, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may wish to submit your report and thereafter read the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Senate at the sitting of Tuesday, 19 November, deliberated on a request by Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the confirmation and nomination for appointments as national and resident electoral commissioners of INEC, and the Senate referred same to the committee through a referral order of that date. The three nominees were Tukor Abdulrazak Yusuf, Northwest National Commissioner, President Sunday Nwababam Aja, Southeast National Commissioner, and Shasheyi Feijimi Biemi, Resident Electoral Commissioner from Ondo State. We looked at the reports, and Mr. President, I must let you know that two of them were seasoned electoral management people who have worked with INEC and were found very suitable. The third person also have worked severally and ended up being a professor in a university, not wasting the time of the committee with the nominees, and received explanations regarding their personal life, work experiences, suitability, competence, and integrity. And we were satisfied. Our findings after the screening exercise, the committee deliberated on the nominees' suitability for confirmation of nomination for appointments as national and resident electoral commissioners. And we make the following findings: that there are no petitions against them, and we observe that they have satisfied the requirements of Section 154, Subsection 1, Section 14, Subsection 1, and Paragraph 2 of the third schedule, Part 1F of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We therefore, after carefully scrutinizing all the relevant documents of the nominees and the considerations of their level of exposure,
experiences, performances, qualifications, and integrity, the committee hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nominations of the underlisted persons as national and resident electoral commissioners. Tukur Abdurazak Yusuf, Northwest. Professor Sunday Nwabam Aja, Southeast, and Shasheyi Feyi Jimmy Ibiemi as from Ondo State as resident electoral commissioner. Distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the members of this committee, I wish to most sincerely thank the President of the Senate, principal officers, and indeed the entire Senate for giving us the opportunity to serve in this regard. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Any comment? No comment. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that we resolve into committee of all to consider the report.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Will the Senate approve the nomination of Tukur Abdurazak Yusuf, representing Northwest, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Professor Sunday, will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Sunday Nwabam Aja, representing Southeast, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Sasi Fayejimi Ibiemi, representing Ondo State, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Resident Electoral Commissioner. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. But the Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion for the Senate to refer to plenary to report progress.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
That was the national officer, national commission. Two. Resident. Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Electoral Matters on the screen of Mr. President's nominees for for appointment as national and resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and approve the nominations of 1, Tukur Abdulrazak Yusuf, NEC position, that's the National Electoral Commission, for Northwest. Professor Sunday Nwambam Aja, NEC Southeast. Saseyi Fe Yi Jimi Ibiyemi, Resident Electoral Commissioner, Ondo State. As National and Resident Electoral Commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Ali, see, Ali, you are doing something else when you are supposed to look at what we are doing, and you are the chairman. Is it no or yes? Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Tukur Abdulrazak Yusuf, representing Northwest, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Tukur Abdulrazak, representing Northwest, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner is hereby approved. With the Senate, confirm the nomination of Professor Sunday Nwambam Aja, presenting Southeast, for appointment as National Electoral Commissioner. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. With the Senate, confirm the nomination of Saseyi Fayejimi Ibiyemi, representing Ondo State, for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Saseyi Fayejimi Ibiyemi, representing Ondo State, for appointment as Resident Electoral Commissioner is hereby approved. Let me, on this note, thank the chairman of Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, Senator Ali Sharafaddin, and members of the esteemed committee for a job well done. You are taking your time to screen these nominees in the best manner possible, to ascertain that they have the required track record and pedigree to be appointed in their various positions. The time you've taken to do this job is well taken care of, in terms of you didn't take much time to do that. And the fact that you did a thorough job is appreciated. We urge you to continue to do your best for the service of the Senate, and indeed working for the nation in general. More grace to your elbows, and thank you very much. And sorry, I also want to call on the confirmed nominees to do their best in terms of doing their duties to allow for a free, for always making sure that they contribute their quota for free, transparent, and credible election in this country. They should put their expertise and experience to play in making sure that they do their best to bring the outstanding electoral process we need in this country so that our democracy can be strengthened as we desire. It's on this one I commend all the senators that contributed and the entire Senate for a job well done. The leader of the Senate.
Sorry, please, there's distraction at the back, please. Mr. President, the sixth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Banigbo Ala-Igbo Ari on the urgent need to mitigate the recent fire outbreak and oil spillage from manifold well 8-BUG-008 in OML 18, Bukuma, Rivers State. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Banigbo Ari to move the motion.
I want to use the floor to Her Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of Rivers State, who worked with His Excellency, FCT, current FCT Minister, Barrister Nelson Wiki. Senator Banigbo Ari, to move a motion.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Banigbo. I represent the good people of Rivers West Senatorial District. I rise to move this motion, very pathetic one, on the urgent need to mitigate the recent fire outbreak and oil spillage from manifold well 8-BUG-008 in OML 18, Bukuma in Degema, Rivers West Senatorial District. I so move.
Let me, Senator Annie Anthony, Professor Annie Anthony, to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by distinguished Senator Banigbo. I so second.
You don't want to add anything to that? Well, if you don't, no problem, we'll call someone else.
This is a motion that is very close to the hearts of people, given the importance of it, because the motion recognizes the severe consequences of the incident, including contamination of rivers, farmlands. It's a very pathetic situation, and if we go through the motion, and for those of us who have had the experience, who have seen what happened, it's a very pathetic situation, and my plea is that all of us should support.
Wait, Senator Anthony. You can just wait. You did not read you should have read it completely. You sat down without reading your motion. Read it fully.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. I'm very grateful for the compassion that I feel in this room right now. This motion, which I read the title of, the Senate therefore will note with deep concern the recent fire outbreak and oil spill from Manifold Well 8 BUG 008 in OML 18, Bukuma, Agum Community, Rivers State, which has caused extensive environmental damage, displacement of residents, destruction of property, and very severe health risks to the affected populations. Recalls that incidents of oil spills and fire outbreaks in the Niger Delta region are recurrent and often result from lapses in safety protocols, sabotage, or inadequate enforcement of environmental laws and other regulatory framework governing oil exploration activities. Recognizes the severe consequences of this incident, including contamination of rivers, farmlands, and aquatic life, which constitute the primary source of livelihood for the residents of Buguma in Asari Toro local government area, Ifoko in Asari Toro local government area, and Bukuma Agum community in Degema. Aware that the pollutants released pose significant health risks, including respiratory and waterborne diseases, and long-term effects such as cancer and organ damage, thereby escalating the public health crisis in the region. Concerned by the delayed response of responsible oil companies and regulatory bodies, which exacerbates the suffering the sufferings of affected communities and undermines public trust in the enforcement of environmental laws. Accordingly, resolves to urge the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, to immediately investigate the cause of the fire outbreak and oil spill from Manifold Well in OML 18 Bukuma, Agum, in Degema, Rivers State, and submit a detailed report to the Senate within 4 weeks. 2, also urge the Ecological Project Management Committee to deploy the Intervention Fund, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to alleviate the multifarious ecological challenges within the affected areas, including the loss of livelihoods, health issues, social and environmental damage caused by this spillage. Thirdly, to equally urge the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC OML 18 Limited, to take immediate and decisive action in response to the fire outbreak in line with its corporate social responsibility and commitments to environmental safety by deploying emergency response teams to assess the impact of the disaster and provide necessary remediation measures to support the affected communities. Fourthly, mandate the committees on environment, petroleum resources upstream, and other relevant committees to assess the compliance of the operators of Manifold Well 8 BUG 008 in OML 18 Bukuma, Aguma, Rivers State, with the provisions of the EIA Act and other relevant laws to recommend appropriate actions, including shutting down the affected well, commence immediate cleanup, and full environmental remediation of the affected areas. Your Excellency, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I so submit. Thank
you very much. Senator Natasha Akpoti, you have the floor. Can you please, the floor is yielded to you.
The Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing the good people of Kogi Central. I stand here to second the motion ably moved by Senator, Her Excellency Senator Banigo.
Okay, wait. Now you second that. We can continue. You can contribute to the debate. Okay, wait, Senator Natasha.
Very well, sir. No, sir, I'm actually ready to contribute to the debate. You see, this motion is quite trite and necessary, and I actually agree that our nation has suffered greatly in terms of a lot of fire outbreaks, and I would like to say that we actually, it will be worthy if we can have fire stations across the country, particularly in every district, and so that we help to curb the damages that are being caused by the various rapid fire outbreaks that have caused the loss of properties and lives. Thank you.
Senator Anthony, Professor. See, Senator Anthony,
yes,
you ought to have been the one to second the motion.
Yes.
But I thought she was not intelligent enough. I wanted to put her on the spot. But thank you, I'm very intelligent. You did well. Thank you. So smart and intelligent. So go on.
The Senate President, the same colleagues, I think the record has to be put straight. I seconded the motion, and somewhere along the way, I was, as it were, cut short. Let me continue from where I stopped. I said that this motion is very important in the sense that the motion touches on lives. For instance, the issue the motion is trying to address is a very massive destruction that took place in some parts of River State, because the devastation went to the extent of contaminating rivers, farmlands, and aquatic. These are life wires of a set of people. And so the motion is very timely, is very important, it needs urgent attention. I urge my colleagues to agree with me to address the prayers raised. Those prayers raised are germane, and if promptly done, it will help to ameliorate the lives of people so affected.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so
you.
I submit.
Thank you. Senator Vitomi.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, this incident of oil spill in the oil exploration areas in the Niger Delta has become a matter that we have to take very seriously. If you look at this motion, the weight of our intervention is clearly put out on paragraph 2 of the motion. She says, incidents of oil spills and fire outbreaks in the Niger Delta region are recurrent and often result from lapses in safety protocols, sabotage, or inadequate enforcement of environmental laws and other regulatory frameworks governing oil exploration activities. This is the center of the problem. Oftentimes, those who are operating these oil mining licenses do not take safety measures in their operations, leading to this thing happening regularly. If you don't observe safety protocols and your well spills to the environment and destroys the aquatic life and the environment, the sanction should be handed to the operator. Because if they are very diligent in their operations, they will know that these leakages and spills pose so much danger to the health of the community people and the environment itself, including the aquatic life. So NOSDRA, that is charged with this responsibility of detecting leaks and spills, will have to descend heavily on the operators. This OML 18, where this spill has occurred, the operator should be given heavy fine. It's not when they destroy the environment, then will start calling for intervention of other government agencies where the operator is negligent in its operations. So I support this motion with every amount of seriousness, and then for us to hold the operator of the mining license hugely responsible for this spill. I thank you very much, and may we find a way to end it.
Thank you, Senator Osita Ungu, then Senator Fadahunsi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Osita Ungu, Enugu West. Mr. President, this is an area I worked for 20 years. I left the oil and gas to the Senate. I don't agree with Senator Ume at all that the operators are responsible. OML 18 is a large block that has about 11 fields. And yes, we have had spills. This is not the first spill. The problem with this one is that it has led to fire outbreak. But we have not asked ourselves one major question. Why do we continue to have spills in a particular area? On this particular spill, the community absorbed themselves, operator absorbed themselves, the military absorbed themselves. But there is credible information that this spill actually emanated from sabotage of the facilities around that place. If we don't deal with the issue, we have to continue to suffer the consequence. Of course, the normal farmers are the ones who will bear the brunt because they cannot fish, they cannot farm. But most spills that occur in the Niger Delta region occur because of sabotage of oil and gas facility. As of today, Nigeria cannot even transport their products through the conventional method, which is a pipeline. And we have doubled the production cost of our oil by using barge to move oil from the drilling part to where we export it. Until we sit down to tell ourselves the truth, motions upon motions will continue to come on spillages out of our own action. Pipelines are being sabotaged, wellheads are being sabotaged, and we want to blame the operators. I don't support this, Mr. President. When we go to the prayers, probably I'll add more. Thank you.
Senator Fadahunsi Francis.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ala-Igbo Francis Fadahunsi, Osun East. I thank my sister for bringing out this fire incident, both in the upstream and downstream. That she restricted herself to oil spillage. But generally, there's no day in this country that we don't have fire problems, particularly from petroleum products. Yesterday, around that area in Buma, the chairman of the woman local government saw another oil spillage, about 2, which is showed on the television. The problem is that those people that are managing the oil, those people that are really managing this oil spillage, particularly the oil, the exploration, they are so careless. They don't fear about our law and our regulatory framework is so weak. So they do what they like. Occasionally, we have a lot of sabotage from the farmers, whom they have already oppressed. And you see a lot of fire coming up. What happened in gas is what is happening on the exploration now. My sister, Dr. Banigo, did not mention the frequent fire outbreak from these tanker drivers that are killing thousands of people. And many hospitals have been filled up and the drugs are no more around. Through carelessness, many of them are on drugs and they are very young. If you see the drivers that are driving this long truck, they are almost underage, but they are they are drug addicts. The road safety measures are so weak. The police and the patrol people on the road, they don't care, they care less. And that is why you see a lot of lives lost, many properties burnt, almost on daily basis. I think the government has to sit down, plan very well, and see how we can control this fire outbreak, particularly from petroleum products. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. No, you've spoken. Let's round up with Senator Isa Jibrin Ochocho. You can speak 2 times this time.
Your Excellency, President of the Senate, very distinguished colleagues. My name is Isa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. First, I want to commend Her Excellency, Senator Banigo, for bringing this issue to the fore. The motion is very well articulated, and he has brought to the fore the various problems that we have in that area of that part of the country with respect to oil spillage and the associated problems. Your Excellency, first, the question is this. Is this problem, are these issues avoidable? They are avoidable, okay? But the problem is that there is negligence on the part of the operators. And there's also compromise on the part of the supervisory authorities. There is a lot of compromise because they go out there to check some of these facilities, but it's like where there are lapses, instead of bringing out the lapses, they compromise. So that is why these problems continue to occur. Going forward, I want to suggest that there should, apart from the insurance cover, because these companies normally insure their assets against fire, theft, and all sorts of. They should also go into insurance of the environment. They should insure the inhabitants of the environment should there be any fire outbreak. The insurance cover should be extended to that level. That whoever is affected by the fire outbreak, insurance cover should be there to cover that person. Because as it is, they don't have insurance cover. But their own equipment are insured against fire. So they should also insure the lives of the inhabitants around that place. Secondly, and very importantly, there's what we call pollution tax. I think we need to institute pollution tax in that area. And whatever revenue is generated from that tax should be used to address this type of problems. Pollution tax, it's something that is doable. It is measurable. There are scientific ways of measuring it. And I think this is the time we need to institute it. That will also act as deterrent. When they pay such a tax, they will also know that there is penalty for whatever actions they are doing. We need to institute pollution tax now in Nigeria for this and other areas that are suffering from this fate. Thank you very much.
But not the least, Senator Komboe Friday.
I'm Senator Benson Friday Komboe, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, as it has been said severally in this hallowed chamber, and in almost all the discussant areas, over and over about the issue of oil spillage. Sir, some of these issues...
Senator Convoy, there are two divergent opinions.
Yes, sir.
One from the the minority whip, and the other from Issa Jibrin. Issa Jibrin is saying the entities, the companies, are the ones that are at fault. And he is saying that the issue of sabotage is more important here because several people are sabotaging these facilities, thereby causing this spillage. So you come from that area. What is your view? I think you should address these two. Which one is right? Which one is wrong?
Very well, sir. That is where I am coming. As one that is a primary custodian of oil activities or flow stations here and there, right from 1956, though I was not born then, but we have seen the pipelines that were laid from that time till now that still exist. Pipelines that were laid since from 1957, 1958 still exist. And what do you talk about just pipelines? The result has to be corrosion. Over time, oil has been flowing through all those pipelines, and they have become so weak. They have become so weak. So many of them are weak and have worn out. And in fact, some of the wellheads, if you get there, the corrosion there, you see the rust all over the places. And what do you expect from chest installation when there is sufficient pressure all the time coming from, from the bottom? The result is that it has to explode. And whatever you see, you take. There have been so many times these kind of things have happened. The one that happened in Nembe, where it has to stay, the spill has to be there for days before they were able to curb it. Sir, the issue of sabotage, yes, sometimes it happens, but not in all cases. Not in all cases. And so we have to discuss on the possibilities of bringing the issue here to a logical conclusion. Because you cannot be talking about people's life and you just write it off. As I'm talking to you, there are so many pipelines that are passing through people's houses and people's bush camps where we do palm wine to distill and survive and live, but it has all been taken over. And where you see pipelines passing through everywhere, people's houses, people's business points, people's farmlands, what have they been doing? And what has the government done all the time?
So people knew,
sir,
excuse me, people knew that there were pipes there, but they still built their houses, or the pipes were built when?
Let me give you an insight of what happened. People existed there before the exploration activities took place. My father's palm wine tapping camp that I also benefited so much from, pipeline is just passing by it. It is not when the pipelines came that those camps were opened. The farmlands has always been there before the oil exploration activities came. And what is it? Everywhere you go, danger, keep off. Danger, keep off. And so the people have been keeping off. After that the people have kept off, what is the result? We are just there watching and looking. And that is the issue. And so people should not just come here and talk down on the pains that the people are already experiencing. The lives of the people here are at stake. From the motion here, it is very clear. Spillage plus fire outbreak results to what? Either asthmatic occurrences or what have you have to be experienced every now and then. That is what our people suffer. There are a lot of ailments that are going on now that were not there, that we are observing now. People cough anyhow without stopping until they die.
We are now well educated about what is happening.
Sir,
thank you for your insight.
It is very, very appalling. And so, what I want to submit...
Your time is off. You have said all. Your time is off.
Yes, sir.
What I want to submit also
is that we should not quickly go into issues of sabotage, because there are agencies, there is government, and there is also the state government.
Thank you. Your time is off. Senator Abdullah, you have the floor.
And ascertain what was the issue that led to the spill.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, actually, I didn't want to come in to this debate, Mr. President. But from the two positions that you have taken, I think the position you have taken, you have clarified the issues. And the submission of my distinguished friend is very apt. I have to say that the conditions of people around the oil exploration areas is really terribly appalling. I'm, Mr. President, talking from experience. I was the first permanent secretary of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. So I traversed the length and breadth, nook and crannies of Niger Delta. The picture that our distinguished senator is talking about is exactly as it is. The situation is prone to what Senator Ipalibo has also narrated about this particular fire. I'm sure there have been so many of these kind of fires. It's just that it has not come to the attention of the Senate. And a lot of the issues talking about sabotage. There may be sabotage, but sabotage is not the major issue, really. Because the way in which the oil exploration infrastructure and the flow stations have been laid out in the Niger Delta region has not been surveyed. In fact, at the beginning, I think, of the development of the Nigerian oil industry, Shell and other corporations were just allowed to lay pipes to their own economic convenience without regard for any environmental surveying to make sure that certain areas, that are certain specified designated areas where pipelines and flow stations should be located. Therefore, it's a hodgepodge of oil wells, spill areas, oil pipelines, everywhere. So anything can happen. At any point, anything can happen. What is happening today, and because of this destruction, that's why a lot of oil majors are now moving out, going to the sea, and then leaving the nascent Nigerian domestic oil industry now to confront the kind of dangers and the kind of real problems that they have left behind. Now, the issue before us, sir, is that this country has to come to grips with the reality of the death and destruction that is coming in the wake of offshore Nigerian oil drilling and oil transportation. And in that way, there must be proper survey in order to make sure, that we have a complete reorientation and reconstruction of oil development infrastructure in this country. You will know that the remediation efforts that have been going on in Igoniland since the beginning of the Buhari administration, people are talking about that kind of, but generally that kind of remediation has failed. The people of the Niger Delta has paid the price of Nigerian oil industry with their lives and their health. It is important for the government to come to face this particular reality with a view to really reorienting the way in which these things happen. Anybody, even if you don't have any form of conscience, you go to the Niger Delta region, you see how communities live, you see how societies live, you see where the pipelines are. I was at Ala-Igbo. There is nowhere in the Niger Delta region where they produce oil that I have not gone. In my capacity, Mr. President, we are together with you in the 8th Senate, when we are all members of the Niger Delta Niger Delta Development Committee. But I have gone even much further because I was first permanent secretary of the ministry that was supervising the thing. It's not late now. The government has to come to the grief not just about the health of those communities and the possibilities of fire coming out everywhere. The incident that my distinguished Senator Ala-Igbo was saying is just one. There are so many hundreds of them, but it's just that they are not reported. People are dying. Therefore, we must come to the grips with the reality of the oil industry and rearrange the complete infrastructure that carries oil, the flow stations, the pipelines, and the delivery points where oil is taken away. Those old pipelines that my colleague talked about must be removed. There must be a complete relaying of this kind of thing, well-surveyed infrastructure so that the domestic oil industry on land, should be rehabilitated. But I think an emergency, an oil development emergency, should be set up this country to sort out this issue. Otherwise, we are sacrificing a whole section of this country, for the benefit of a few. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And now you'll be granted to Senator Abdulaziz Yari the right to speak, because all that needs to be said have been said. We've gotten the son of soil. He has told us. We've been enlightened. The first permanent secretary of the Niger Delta Ministry has also told us what's happening. Even personally, I was also the chairman of downstream committee of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources, and I also visited those areas and I saw for myself all what had been said. So let me yield the ground to Senator Abdulaziz Yari to bear his mind.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Senate, the extended colleagues. Mr. President, apart from the three speakers, more especially my brother from Bayelsa. Mr. President, this issue of oil spill, fire outbreak, and fire blind operation is a long history, which I believe you have been in this Senate at least for quite some time, and this kind of motion has been in place. The pipeline that were laid since in the 50s and the population is something that we need to lay emphasis, and also the activities of our youth in the region, as well as the kind of attitude of IOCs, that the international oil companies, what they are doing there for the region, is something that we put together so that we can be able to find the answer on where we are today. There are a lot of issues, many thousands of them. It's beyond addressing the pipeline, but carelessly, the way we are, because the way the IOCs are doing business in Nigeria, it's never done anywhere in the world. It's never a global practice. But they're having their way. And it's our people. And also our people there, giving them the opportunity to do such. I could remember sometimes in 2016, when President Buhari, I was there in the United Nations with him the issue of clearing the lands degraded by the oil spill, which money were mentioned. I don't know whether make it available, about $2 billion. But the problem is, at the time that you are doing the clearing the land and making habitats for farmers and all this, or the farm trees is talking about, largely in the region today, it's no more. Why? Because the oil spill. The one that humanly we as citizens we created in the name of bunkering, and the one that carelessly or largely by the oil international companies are just living because they are going away with it. I could remember during Obama's time when there are such things in the Pacific, in the Atlantic, the Shell, they know the consequences, what they paid. But today in Nigeria, they go along with it. Nobody cares. So what I'm trying to say here is that, Mr. President, we should look at the behaviors of international oil companies, how they are doing it, and we have to bring them to book to do the business as they are doing in the other part of the world. Even in Africa, the way they are doing it in Nigeria to go free, they cannot do it in Angola to go free with it. So, Mr. President, on doing so, the oil company should be wholly responsible, and also to mobilize more. I know the governors are doing, when I was on that part, what they are doing to ensure that they calm their people and orient them on stopping breaking the pipeline. That one has been reduced. But the problem more is that instead of farming, largely those that are supposed to go to farm, they are now on the other side, breaking the pipeline because they are getting more money than going for the agriculture. Would we now know the impact of destroying our land and destroying our crops? So the largely land cannot make farming, and a lot of sickness, as they said, in cancer and what have you. When you come to the oil gas plenary, they are not even following the rules, and they are not the right penalty that is supposed to be paid. They are not. So that's why they're going along with it. But if they know, the oil companies, they know they are paying the right penalty, they will do the right thing so that they can control the pollution, so that at least our people there can stay safe. But something needs to be done, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
All the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency knows that to immediately investigate the cause of the fire outbreak and oil spill from manifold well 8 BUG box 008 in OML 18 Bukuma, Agom, River State, and submit a detailed report to the Senate within 4 weeks. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You say nay. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Observation.
You didn't call for amendment in time now.
I raised my hand. You didn't call me.
So what's
Mr. President, sir, I've been raising my hand as the chairman.
I'm sorry,
even to
Senator
contribute. You didn't call me.
We have gone past that. I'm sorry, I can't help
on this prayer, I will not report to the Senate.
Look for additional prayer. Excuse me. You can create an additional prayer. Create an additional prayer, but you have gone past this.
Okay, sir.
We are going to the second prayer. If anybody has an amendment, please indicate. Or else if we get it passed, we can go back. Also, all the Ecological Project Management Committee, EPMC, to deploy the Intervention Fund, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to alleviate the multifarious ecological challenges within the affected areas, including the loss of livelihoods, health issues, and social and environmental damages caused by this spillage. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. And I ask that if anybody had an amendment, you should say it. You did not indicate. We have got that. It's prayer. You can couch an amendment if you like, to take care of your observation. Yes. Yes.
All right,
additional
sir.
prayer. Thank you. No, not now. Until we finish. You can come by way of additional prayer. Thank you, Senator Isachibri. Prayer 3. Anybody has an amendment here, please indicate. Equally urge Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, OML 18 Limited, to take immediate and decisive action in response to the fire outbreak in line with its corporate social responsibility and commitment to environmental safety by deploying emergency response teams to assess the impact of the disaster and provide necessary remediation measures to support the affected communities. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. We're now on prayer 4. Any amendment? No. Mandate the Committee on Environment, led by Senator Akintunde Yunus Abiodun, Petroleum Resources Upstream, and any other relevant committee to assess the compliance of the operators of Manifold Well 8, BUG 008 in OML 18, Bukuma Agom Rivers State, with the provision of the EIA Act and other relevant laws to recommend appropriate actions, including shutting down the affected well, commence immediate cleanup, and full environmental remediation of the affected areas. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer, if any. Sorry, let me get a...
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, sincerely speaking, as I raised earlier, my prayer was to match prayer 1 and 4. There is no way Nostra can report to these citizens.
Senator Yunus, you have to catch your prayer and then you read it and somebody will second it.
Yeah.
Just
my additional prayer could have been.
Could have been?
Yes, sir. Because Nostra is
so no additional prayer. No additional prayer. Thank you, Senator Abdullahi. Well, this is your committee. You see, it is going to refer to you, so you can do what you want to do and then report back. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. My additional prayer is that the federal government should declare a national emergency program for the rebuilding, rehabilitation, and recalibration of the national onshore oil wells, flow stations, and pipeline infrastructure in Nigeria, with a view to renewing the infrastructure in Nigeria's oil industry.
A seconder, please, Senator Adamu Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Mohammed Adamu Alero, representing Kebbi Central. I stand to second the additional prayer proposed by my colleague, Senator Yahya Abdullahi. Thank you.
Those in favor of the additional prayer, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. A very good additional prayer. Very, very good. Senator Akpoti.
Thank you very much,
Natasha
Mr.
Akpoti
President.
Odwanga.
Yes, sir. My additional prayer goes thus. to urge the Ecological Management Committee and relevant agencies to ascertain cleanup costs, charges, and penalties of each and every oil spill or fire hazard and charge operators accordingly. I say this, sir, if you permit me, because...
Seconder, please.
Yes, seconder.
Seconder, okay. Senator Issa Jibril Otuso.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the additional prayer ably moved by Senator Natata Pushi. I so move. I so second, sorry.
Those in favor of the prayer, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Those. Well, you see, excuse me. Well, the vote is going to be taken, but as the presiding officer, as the president, let me guide the Senate. You see, the facts have been laid out, particularly by Senator Ala-Igbo, the first permanent secretary of the Niger Delta Ministry, right? But I agree that there are a combination of factors. Some are due to, of course, the major factor is the fact that we have an infrastructure that has become decayed, right? And the second factor, which cannot be ascertained, is the fact that there are some level of sabotage in that. Now, coming up with these additional prayer, I think will create problem on these two issues that have been raised, particularly the one that has just been passed. But anyway, the Senate has the latitude to deal with the matter. So let me put the question. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye. Those against say nay. Oh, the ayes have it. Any additional prayer? We've come to the end of the debate. Thank you very much, Senator Banigo, for bringing forward this motion, which is apt. I had the privilege of serving as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream. We also came to discover what Senator Yahaya talked about, that there's a need to reconstruct our oil infrastructure because some are now outdated, decayed, and causing a lot of problems. And even not for that, for security of the oil pipelines, that they need to be constructed underneath the ground. Now they have to propose it. One, to secure them, and number two, for the safety of the people. This is what ought to have been done. But then the oil companies didn't take all this into consideration. What they needed is money. And so they did, to their own convenience and to detriment of the people. So, but the issue now is the money to reconstruct the infrastructure. It was calculated, but huge amount of money. So we need to look for a way out. Our president is an up-and-coming president, someone who is into reforms, who can do what, something that we might think is impossible in terms of garnering funds to, construct a lot of things. So I think we should put that before him. This motion, this resolution, will get to him, and I think he's going to think along the line of getting the problem solved. So thank you, Senator Abdullahi, and thank everybody that contributed to this motion. Is worth it. It's something that should be debated, and it has been debated, and the resolution will go to the executive, and I'm sure by grace of God, the executive will look at it and make sure that the needful is done. So I thank everybody. Thank you. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the seventh and last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Umar Shehu Buba on the urgent need to investigate allegations against Nigerian sovereignty by the head of state of Niger Republic, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Tachani regarding a purported collusion with France to destabilize his country. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Umar Shehu Buba to move the motion.
Senator Shehu Buba, the floor is here to you to move your motion.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Shehu Buba Umar, representing Bauchi South of Bauchi State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my motion is on the need to investigate allegations against Nigerian sovereignty by the head of state of Niger Republic, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Shani, regarding a purported collusion with France to destabilize his country, Niger. The Senate notes with deep concern the serious and unfounded allegations made by the head of state of Niger Republic, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Shani, accusing Nigeria of colluding with France to destabilize Niger through a new militia group called Lakurawa, allegedly operating in Nigeria's northwest region. Also notes that Brigadier General Shani also alleged plans to establish a base for Lakurawa in a forest near Gaba, Sokoto State, with operational reach extending to Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi States. Additionally, he claimed that foreign military bases in Nigeria are being used to target Niger's oil pipelines and create security threats. Further note that Nigeria and Niger Republic have shared a long-standing, cordial, and mutually beneficial relationships spanning centuries, marked by cooperation in security, trade, and cultural ties. Recall that diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Niger were strained following the coup d'etat of 26 July 2023, which disrupted constitutional order in Niger. As the head of ECOWAS, Nigeria insisted on the restoration of constitutional democracy. This situation had been gradually normalizing before this latest unfounded accusation by the head of state of Niger on the 26th December 2024. Note that in making these allegations, the Nigerian military junta wrongfully implicated certain Nigerian officials, including the National Security Advisor, former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai, who have been working tirelessly to ensure regional peace and stability, in line with Nigeria's national security strategy. Also note that upon learning of these allegations, the National Security Advisor swiftly and unequivocally dismissed them as baseless by clarifying that Nigeria has never allowed a foreign military base on its soil, having previously rejected such requests from both the United States and the United Kingdom. He also reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to maintaining peaceful relationship with its neighbors, including Chad, Benin, and Cameroon, and emphasized the need to focus on common enemies, terrorist groups, rather than engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Concerned that despite established diplomatic channels for addressing grievances, the Nigerian head of state chose to make unfounded public accusations, thereby tarnishing Nigeria's international image and undermining its sovereignty without presenting any credible evidence. Aware that National Assembly has constitutional oversight over international treaty as provided under Section 12 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. As such, the 10th Senate, under the leadership of the Senate President, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio GSON, will be aware if there is any treaty or agreement regarding the establishment of the alleged foreign military base or the Lakurawa militia. And notes that any attempt whether deliberate or otherwise, to undermine Nigerian sovereignty and international standing must be condemned, particularly when such claims lack substantive proofs. Therefore, these motions underscore the Senate's commitment to protecting Nigeria's sovereignty, preserving its international reputations, and fostering peaceful and cooperative relationships with neighboring countries. Accordingly, resolved to A, investigate the purported allegations made by the head of state of Niger Republic and make appropriate recommendations to the Senate. B, conduct a fact-finding visit to the areas mentioned in the allegation, particularly in Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi, to verify the presence or absence of the purported Lakurawa bases. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, prayer C, after a consultations and advice by a colleagues, I decided to step down to the prayer C. So therefore, I'm proceeding to prayer 4, which is D. And final, recommend diplomatic and security measures to restore and strengthen the historical ties between Nigeria and Niger by ensuring continued cooperation in security and other areas of mutual benefits. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so moved. Thank you.
Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I've listened to my distinguished colleague, distinguished Senator Mubashir Umar, and coincidentally is the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Security and Intelligence. He has moved his motion. Take it, Mr. President, that I have stood up to second that motion, because it is not my intention for this motion to be killed. But in seconding it, I want to make a very passionate appeal to our distinguished colleagues that we do not discuss this motion in plenary. One, this is about national security. The motion has also raised issues that border on diplomatic relations. If you look at some of the prayers of the motion, for instance, and all that, there's no way as a parliament we are going to be inviting ambassadors to come and explain anything. Okay, it's been stepped down. Yes, sir. But for the purpose of national security and diplomatic relations, in seconding this motion, Mr. President, I want to appeal that even if any other person had sponsored this motion, he would have been referred to his committee, which is the Committee on National Security and Intelligence. So, since this is coming from him as a distinguished senator, let us just agree that his committee be made to go and carry out whatever investigation that needs to be carried out. And the committee will present a report to us in an executive session to be discussed further by the committee of the whole. I thank you, sir.
Open it to. Okay, Senator Dixon.
Thank you. I support the chorus from this side that it is well-guided intervention. But Henry Seraki Dixon, Bayelsa West. I agree that on account of diplomatic relations and national security, we should refer the issues to the appropriate committees. But I suggest that it should be a joint committee. The Committee on Foreign Relations is also very important. So that, the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the National Security Committee should jointly carry out this. I so second. So move.
Well, before I put the amendment to vote, let me commend the leader for his thought and his insight in bringing forward his view, and of course, Senator Dixon. Not even that, several elders here have also spoken in that direction. What the leader is talking about is merely emphasizing, well, number one, it's a matter of national security, something that has to do with diplomacy, which needs to be dealt with with the highest sense of responsibility, because it's a very sensitive area. And thank God he brought forward the motion, being the chairman of the committee that has the capacity that this Senate has given the latitude to deal with such a matter. What you've done, you could have done that yourself. Your committee could have done that on its own, but you decided to bring it to the floor. Is what you have just done now. What you are trying to do is to emphasize the earlier responsibility given to the committee, to your committee, to do this job. So, without much ado, let me just put the question, because there's an amendment now asking that another committee should be added, which is Committee on Foreign Affairs. Now, diaspora, okay, well, he has moved the motion. Anyway, he has moved the motion. Is there a seconder to his seconder? Okay, Ojikalu.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. And in seconding the motion, I would like to...
You just second straight away. You are experienced legislator since 1992, so you know you have to second and move on.
I have seconded the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So this motion, the motion is now referred to the Committee on Intelligence and National Security, jointly with the Committee on Foreign Affairs, to report back to this August Senate. It's two committees. He said two committees to report back within 4 weeks. The leader of Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn to Tuesday, the 11th day of February 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate do adjourn today after considering all the items of the order paper. I so second.
Moved by the leader of the Senate in respect to adjournment to Tuesday, and second by Minority Leader PCI. The Senate is hereby adjourned to Tuesday, 11th day of February 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt.